Welcome to the SVG-TV Evening News and Sports. It's December 10th. I'm Carol Cato, and here are the details. Opposition leader Arnim Eustace is accusing the government of austerity measures, something he said he has been accused of by the ruling administration. Responding to the 2014 budget estimates presentation made by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, which amounts to a total of some 911.6 million EC dollars, the opposition leader called the government out for what he claims to be the freezing of public servants' salaries for the last 3 years.
Austerity that he is accusing me of, I will demonstrate that he is doing that right here. There's no contract for salary increases for the public service for the years 2012, 2013, and 2014. The public servants will now be having 3 years. 3 years without any salary increase. Was that austerity?
The opposition leader also pointed out that he has seen a pattern where the budget estimates are hiked up whenever an election is near.
We have a practice here in St. Vincent and Grenadines under this administration where sometimes we have certain spots in the budget upwards. In 2010, when an election was expected, the budget suddenly jumped from $750 million to $913.4 million. 2013, we had a budget of $799 million. Now we have another sudden jump to $911.5 million.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves seemed to have preempted the opposition leader's contribution to the budget estimates, outlining that he wouldn't like anyone to accuse him of bunching the projects together because of the upcoming general election, constitutionally due in 2015.
I do not want anyone to accuse this government of bunching these projects to suit any electoral calendar. I would have hoped that some of these projects could have started earlier this year, but administrative matters and matters within agencies from whom we receive grants or loans have conspired to cause a later bunching. And I want the Honorable Leader of the Opposition to believe me and that I'm speaking the absolute truth in this regard.
PM Gonsalves says the 2014 budget will see a significant increase over that of 2013 because of a number of factors, including the Argyle International Airport.
$911,571,046. This figure represents a 14.1% increase over the approved budget for 2013. The increase in the total budget for 2014 is due to a substantial increase on the capital side, 45.5%, as I will show, largely because of the airport expenditure on the Argyle International Airport, and a 5.2% increase in recurrent spending.
The Prime Minister will represent this country at the funeral service of the late South African President Nelson Mandela. Speaking in Parliament today, PM Gonsalves outlined that the CARICOM community will be fully represented in South Africa, and he is making arrangements to leave the state later this week.
The current chairman of the community is leading a CARICOM delegation to the memorial, which includes the President of Haiti, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, representatives from governments of Grenada and St. Lucia and Antigua. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and I are trying to get to South Africa for the service, for the funeral on Sunday.
Prime Minister Gonzalez added that his party's convention, scheduled for this Sunday, December 15th, has been postponed out of respect for the anti-apartheid icon. Meanwhile, opposition leader Arnim Eustace was one of the persons who paid tribute to Mandela in Parliament. Eustace said he is full of admiration for Mandela and respects him greatly for choosing the path of reconciliation.
What an extraordinary man, who spent some of his best years in confinement, but he came out of prison. Not only the prison called Robben Island, he came out of that prison, which would have led him to take a different approach, and it would have caused our world to be a worse place. He was free from the prison of hate and went to the Church of Reconciliation.
The chairman of the SVG Reparations Committee, Jomo Thomas, also spoke of Mandela's contributions worldwide. Thomas said he is of the belief that the next generation should strive to emulate the life of the great leader.
If you were to ask ourselves whom we would like the next generation of leaders to be like, whom we would like the next generation of children to be like, whom we would like the next generation of workers to be like, we should say, after studying the history and the story and the life and the work and the teaching of Nelson Mandela, that we would want him, we would want them, the leaders, the children, the students, the workers, to be like Nelson Mandela.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has publicly expressed its gratitude to the people and government of the United States of America for their assistance towards improving national security here. Speaking at the handing over ceremony of the digital fingerprint identification system yesterday, the U.S. Embassy advised the U.S. Embassy's advisor to the Minister of National Security, Sir Vincent Beach, says the equipment is extremely timely in assisting the police in effectively executing their duties. Beach says, in his view, security is the most important part of any administration.
And I say this because if the people do not feel secure, or if crime has got to such an extent where it has become rampant, then it's going to affect your fiscal policies, it's going to affect your development, because you're not going to get people coming in to want to invest. So therefore, security and crime, I think, is maybe the most crucial area in any developing country's portfolio. So we are very grateful.
Beach says any information, material and equipment that the government can use to better curb criminal activities here is always appreciated.
Forensics, as most people know, is crucial. It plays a very important part in the fighting of crime. And so forensics and things like this is very important. And fingerprinting is being basic, people would say, because since I'm a little boy, I know we hear about fingerprinting, where the crime, they come and they dust and so on. But that was a very tedious exercise, because you had to go through physically and visually, and my eyesight might be as good as yours, and try to identify whether print matches, etc. And more often than not, you go to court and you can't prove that it is an absolute match, and therefore, now with the database now and the computer, it brings a different perspective to fingerprinting.
More stories on the local scene when the evening news continues. Welcome back to the evening news. A former Minister of Health, Dr. Douglas Slater, has made a strong case for CARICOM to confront the sexual abuse of children. The now Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM, whose focus is on human and social development, told a regional reporter that sexual abuse of children remains a major contributor to adolescent pregnancy. Dr. Slater noted that 1 out of every 10 cases of sexual abuse of minors in the region are committed by family members, and he is proposing that the Caribbean formulate a joint legislation to tackle the problem.
It will be good if we can have a model legislation that serves the Caribbean region. Fortunately, that should not be so difficult, since most of us come out of a legal system which is connected to the Westminster-style parliamentary system and the British law. Of course, we have other countries like Suriname and Haiti that do not, but I think they can make that model legislation to fit. Yes, you know that I have from time to time in my previous life raised that issue, and it is one of the issues that I am passionate about. Unfortunately, the legislation that exists or the enforcement of it has been a problem, and there are times when, yes, there were some successes, but there are too many challenges. I think it should be easier that perpetrators of child abuse should be brought to justice more easily.
In an attempt to enhance the delivery of government services through information technology, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is hosting a 5-day Java software training program. The seminar is being facilitated through the SVG E-Government Center and the Government of Taiwan. Project Manager at the center, Marcus Chang, says the 5-day seminar is a step closer to enhancing ICT in SVG.
To develop and support wider system of e-government. This center is operated from the main. The second objective is to implement 2 e-government systems. Next year, we will implement National Internet Portal and Government Document e-archiving system.
Director of Information Technology Andre Bailey says they are very grateful for the assistance provided by the Republic of China on Taiwan.
It's an immigrant means, because here we have a number of software systems that needs capacity building, and during our Soviet road government we realized that there's commonalities, and in order to be able to enhance our delivery of service to the citizens, we must be able to do whatever is necessary in the back end of the servers for the delivery to the citizens, and as well as government to government. And I believe we are on the right track, and we must be very grateful for this Java training, because there are a number of systems within government that is actually using Java or a complement of Java to be able to enhance the services delivery.
Meanwhile, Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Weber Shi, says Taiwan is pleased to be associated with the further development of ICT and SVG, and has recognized the importance of utilizing ICT to enhance government efficiency.
To further advance national sustainable development, an agreement on ICT cooperation was signed in November 2010. In the agreement, both parties have identified 3 areas for cooperation in ICT, including e-government and e-governance, e-industry, ICT capacity building and training. The e-government center dedicated on May 17th this year is a milestone for the whole ICT cooperation between our 2 countries.
Today, 4 students were awarded for exceptional work in the 6th Annual Secondary Schools Bible Quiz. Rockwell Lewis of the Intermediate High School received the Acute Cosmetics Beginners Award. The Frequent Participant Award went to Alexandria Bacchus of the St. Joseph's Convent, Kingstown. The Distinguished Graduate Award went to Aaron Richards of the St. Vincent Grammar School, which also received the Outstanding School Award. Feature speaker at the award ceremony, Cozelle Fraser, expressed how pleased she was by the level of participation in the quiz and the enthusiasm showed by the students for the Word of God.
Developed this program. It was fundamentally to bring out the best in the youths. We wanted to bring out the best in you because we recognized that you were at that stage in life where you were striving to be your best academically. You were also striving to be the best in your extracurricular activities, and we wanted to help you to be the best, but the best that God wants you to be.
Fraser further urged the youths to find a balance, not just to excel academically, but spiritually as well.
You must be able to balance between your play life, you must be able to balance between your school life and your spiritual life. And having a sound knowledge and understanding of the scriptures is very, very important for your overall success and development.
14 schools have been selected to participate in the grand finale of the Christmas Music Festival 2013. According to a media release from the Educational Unit of the Ministry of Education, these schools presented the most outstanding items in the preliminaries of the festival. The schools selected for the finals are the Beckway Anglican Primary, Bayaboo Methodist, Clare Valley Government, C.W. Prescott, Georgetown Government, Kingstown Anglican, Lomans Leeward Anglican, New Prospect Primary, Richland Park Government, Sandy Bay Anglican, the School for Children with Special Needs Georgetown, St. Mary's RC, Stubbs, and Turama Governments. These finalists are scheduled to perform in an exhibition concert which takes place tomorrow at the Peace Memorial Hall from 1:30. This year, .com's Backyard Restaurant and Treehouse Bar is hoping to deliver some 3,000 toys to less fortunate children across SVG through its Toys for Tots campaign. Now into its second year, the management and staff of the Treehouse Bar are encouraging Vincentians to dig a little deeper into their pockets and assist them in bringing joy to less fortunate children for this Christmas season. In 2012, the Treehouse Santa distributed over 1,000 toys to various communities and institutions here, and this year they're hoping to increase their distribution total by 2,000 and also extend the distribution to the Grenadines. Persons can make their contributions to the Toys for Tots campaign by dropping toys and monetary donations at the Treehouse Bar and Restaurant or by calling the bar for pickup.